Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Anthony here. I'm just off camera just a little bit. I want you guys to see the latest update for Skull Island. I tried doing a video, and I'll apologize ahead of time, of when I was trying to put the hardscaping actually in. Most of the time though, I was inside the fireplace as much as possible to get this in there. It was a lot trickier than I thought it was going to be. It was a lot easier in some ways and a lot trickier in other ways. But I used the great stuff here, and it worked amazing, amazing, amazing. So the only thing I had to do is I thought I was going to be able to put it all in at one time and that was it. No. So I started in a section. I would do one and then another one, and then that would have to be taped and then dried. So then I just took these needle nose pliers once it's dry, and then you can see, like, especially like right back in here where you can see a little of the black residue. That is fine because it can just be popped out. Now the cool thing about this is, because this is vinyl, the great stuff sticks to it, but when you need to remove it, it just pulls right off. You can just tear it off. So this is very, very, very easy. It's messy. I used lots of gloves and I still got black all over my hands because I would be doing something, taking off my gloves, put another pair of gloves on, and I could not be more thrilled with the difference. So I had to make a couple of changes because when I started putting this in, everything fell. So my original layout is completely different now because everything moved and I didn't know where everything was going to go back, except for this side with the larger pieces on this side. This stayed intact. So what's nice is everything now, you can see, it's all secured. We're good. This piece and this piece are tentatively in place. I just shot, and I think you can tell. Let's see if we can zoom in a little closer there. Maybe. Yeah, I think you can see it. That's as tight as it wants to go. There. Here, I use my little pointer, my little straw pointer. Okay, by the way, you guys, you know I don't throw anything away. This straw came in handy. When I was having to mess with the great stuff as it was still wet, this was a super easy tool. So like right here, there is a bubble up of a little bit of great stuff that I've just put in. I just want to tack this piece in place. It pretty much stands on its own, but when I put the gravel in here and everything else, I don't want it to move. The same thing with this one. It's just tacked in, oh, you can't see it. This piece. This piece here, it's just tacked in place. So that's going to stay there. The gaps, I am 100% in love of, because I'm thinking I could plant something or put some moss inside there. And then when we get to this side, hang on, you guys know the shot. This side here, this one is attached to this one. This one I love, it's great. Can you see this gap back in here? How wide the gap is? So my thought process was, maybe I could put some soil at the tops where all of these are and plant something above it, or maybe put some moss above that. And by that I'm meaning, if we want to make the wall look realistic, as far as this is aged, this is something that definitely has a forest behind it, I'm going to have to work on how to achieve that effect. And so I want to show you this, and let me back out a little bit. Still give you the shot. Now, as you know, I've been saving some pieces, and well, maybe let's just go down. Let's just look straight into here. So in here, I have decaying wood that is, give you a better shot, there we go. So the back of it, as you can tell, really decayed wood with this great moss that's been on it since the beginning. And I have several pieces of this in this tub, and I even have some thin strands of bark. I think I had another one too. That is soil. But like, I plan on putting these types of pieces, if possible, maybe in the upper sections of the back. I don't know, I'm gonna play around with that. They're so fragile. That's one tub. Okay, here is a second tub. Still, oh my gosh. This bark is so, I mean, really is. It's terribly, terribly fragile. But it's got some great moss on it. Here is a beautiful piece right here. Okay, this is hard bark. We are going to be using this one definitely for sure. Underneath it is another piece of hard bark that I could add in. I could even maybe break some of this up and add it in. So that's the point where I'm going to get into maybe a little bit of planning how to add these other pieces that is going to kind of finish up that theme. So if we kind of can play with one and think about it, if it were growing, well, you can't even see it again. Okay, so here it is. And I don't want to mess that bottom piece up, but these are so skinny that I'm thinking I could definitely have them coming down like so. And it would give a lot of greenery of moss that I already have. And I'm thinking I'm going to try something like that. I'm going to try it, and then I'll get back with you and we'll see what we think. Okay, as you can see, now I've placed in the remaining moss that was on the driftwood that I showed you just a second ago. It's been placed in the upper sections, and I have kind of like done a little more rearranging. I've put the moss mountains where they'll fit easier, and the irrigation, which gave me a lot of trouble. I had to actually take a needle and poke a lot more holes into the irrigation because it just was not performing at all. The main goal here was to make sure that the back wall and the side walls are getting irrigation to them, so you won't necessarily see the dripping coming off of them as much as you will see the ones that's just going to come down through the middle like it's actually like a nice slow rain. But right now it's looking really, really good. The water has been on for about 3 hours. You can see how much it's pooling in the bottom there, and I'm going to have to like kind of play around with how long to leave the pump on for it to be able to get the, you know, the correct rainforest kind of like effect here, or at least a rain on the island effect here. And then the next step really is going to be to I bought some rock for the base, so I'll need to wash the rock, put that in, and put the substrate in, and then think about what type of plant, the terrarium plants to put in here, and also how I'm going to keep this enclosed to where it is more of a humid environment, and that I know is going to be the biggest challenge. So for now, this is what we've got. We've got rain, and we've got the structure intact. The lighting is intact. I think it looks amazing. I can already tell, you can kind of see the vibrant green from the moss mountains that were looking kind of like dull because they hadn't had water and their humidity for I think 5 days now. They're looking a lot better now, and so we'll just take it from here. It's one experiment after another. Thanks, guys. Structure's still intact. There is water still in the base. This is what was originally, has been in it now for 3 days. So we know it's holding water, it's gonna stay moist at the bottom. I've been on a 3-day trip, I just came back, and we're gonna try an experiment right now. Let's see, you guys can see, there's my tag. This was the Louisville scavenger hunt. And I think you can see there. Here's the root system. Cool. It's already on that one. Okay, cool. It just comes off. So there's like this root system. Every little bit. Oh, it looks kind of like it's almost on every joint. Let's clean it off a little bit. Grab old stuff on it. So what I'm going to do is put this really close to the light. Any player I can see roots that are exposed, I'm going to cut it and I'm going to lay it into Skull Island, the base. And I want to see if these can grow. And kind of here's my idea. If I can lay these down in these little sections, however long they need to be, kind of get it to grow up and grow into an upright, a vertical again, which I hope it will just by laying it down. And as that would grow, would it mimic like a tree in Skull Island, which would enhance the idea that this is a stand back up, that this is an area and that this will be like mountaintops, and this is the large gigantic wall that's in the back. So, and I wanted to grow a forest of little trees. Yes, I would put some in the back. Oh, there. Put that one there. I'm gonna put some here, some up close. Put one in the corner here. Back there. Okay, so I think I like the placement right now, and I'm sure others will grow out. And then also, as these do grow, we can move them or whatever. But I'm going to get I've turned on the pump. I want to get, it takes at least 5 minutes to 10 minutes to start dripping, depending on how fast it is. And I want to get everything to an even layer of water at the bottom, and then I'll go ahead and turn it off. And since I was on a 3-day trip, my moss all around the sides up here is all dried out, and you can tell it's just not looking happy at all. So I'm gonna set the timer up because I go out again tomorrow on another 3-day trip, and I'm gonna set it up and maybe let it run like an hour a day. And then when I come back, I can see how much water has been built up over 3 days. So I'm still not putting the gravel in yet because I want to see how much water gets in there over so many days to be able to know how high I really need to make that gravel layer. I'm guessing right now probably an inch, so that the soil we put on top for the rest of the plants is not going to be sitting and getting soaked. But we know this is going to have water probably once, maybe even twice a day, that I could do like an hour at a time. The timer I got, which by the way, If you guys had seen one of the parts of the other first video of this, I showed the timer box. There's two little baby timers in there, and what I love about it is they're very, very small, and I can run it for 30-minute intervals. So I could do 30 minutes, which really wouldn't probably benefit this type of a setup like it does the moss wall, because this takes a lot longer to build up the pressure because we're using such an inexpensive pump. But I could probably run it for an hour at a time, and if it's not getting, I won't know until it's going to take several attempts to see what a happy medium is for the mossing here. Right now, you know that being gone 3 days, and that was just way too long for it. It's just completely dried out. But it should rehydrate itself again. But it's been under high lighting and no water, so it's to be expected it's gonna like dull up again. So let me get that going. I may just give you a shot a little bit later on when it actually does start the dripping, so you can see that once again. And for now, that's it. Thanks. So on this go around, it took 15 minutes to get the drip to this level here. And remember, it's only dripping this fast at the beginning like this because I did go back in and put a lot of little holes in it with a needle. So that's what's really helping this. And so I'm a little concerned about, I had to unconnect the hose from the pump and let the pump run, and then connect the hose back up to again to get this volume to happen in 15 minutes. So I'm concerned about what's going to happen when I'm not here, and will I get anything like this. So this is still just more trial and error. But this gives you a good shot of the level of drip that we've got going on right now, which is kind of like a slow rain. Alright guys, now you can see the gravel's been added to the base. It's about a 1/2 inch layer, a little higher in a few spots. Then we're going to build our substrate on top of that. Actually, we'll screen it and then put our substrate straight on top of that. And I'll show you the ingredients for the substrate. I've got it set up on the table over at the studio area. Now, for the drip system, it's working a lot better now. So much so that I may just be able to run it once a day, maybe, and the timer I've got minimum is 30 minutes. So we'll see how much it fills up with water. Excuse me. And I probably will have it turned off whenever I'm on a trip, because I'm hoping that this creates the humid environment that we need for the plants to survive, and run the water occasionally if you want to have the effect of that. But once the water's in there, if it doesn't evaporate very often, then I am probably going to have to pull some of it out, siphon some of it out, because there is no drain in here, because we're not modifying the firebox at all. Now, I did just get a solid piece of glass. I have gone ahead and I had to cut it down. I wrap the edges in electrical tape because I did not want the glass to be rubbing against the metal sides. I was afraid it would eventually chip or chip on the chain curtains on the fireplace. So the only thing extra I did to the firebox itself, which may be a little hard to see, is at the very bottom there is a section that has some standard door trim insulation that's just been stuck to the base of the firebox on the exterior side, to where the glass can just sit right there, and then the chain on the curtains will automatically hold it in. And so I'll make sure that that's all taped down, so I don't want it coming up. But right now we are ready to start the mix, and so let me get the camera set up so you guys can take a shot at that. Okay, so here are the ingredients for the substrate, and I'll just kind of pan over. So you have the charcoal layer, which should go down first on top of the barrier screen. And for the charcoal layer, it's just going to be a thin layer. The sphagnum moss, that's going to be 2 parts. There you go. The cocoa, that's 1 part. The worm castings, 1 part. and the bark is 1 part. And then what you don't see here is my organic potting soil, and that's also 1 part. So everything is 1 part except for the sphagnum moss, which is 2 parts. So I'll just mix that all together, and then we can start putting down the substrate, and then right after that we can start planting. Because I just hydrated it and I microwaved it. Because I remember on someone's website they said cook your sphagnum moss for like 2 minutes, because when it gets into a moist environment it could come back to life and, you know, kind of take over your turn green and maybe throw off your whole balance of the look you're trying to achieve. Container looks like it's going to be too small. Let me see. And when we start with this, if we need more, just make up another batch. I know you could, if you have space. What I would recommend is using a 5-gallon bucket if you're going to be doing this. And do we have it? This is the bark we're using. And then just keep a lid on it, then you've got it available. From what I remember, I think the bark just adds to the aeration. Now I'm thinking this is probably not quite exactly a terrarium because of the way I'm going to plant it. It might end up, it won't have an animal in them, but it has a water feature, so it could be considered a paludarium. And you can go with a heavier substrate, because I've got like at least 3 inches of height if I wanted to do it level, and then of course higher in the back, which is what I want to do anyway. So I bet I have to do maybe 3 of these. And that's what we're just putting in. Oh, and I forgot soil, sand, and potting soil. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna have to get a much bigger container. Just a lot of that. Okay, and I just learned the cocoa brick has to be hydrated as well. So it is sitting in the sink on its way to hydration. And let's rock on. The organic soil I have, I just picked that up at Walmart. It was the cheapest thing they had. This is such a mess that now I know why people just mix a bunch of it together all at once. And keep it in a tub or something. So I expect I'm going to need 2 batches. Okay. Alright, I think this is good. I know we're going to need 2, but I want to build up the back section a little more and make sure I don't have any holes anywhere. So off camera, I'll mix up another batch. Okay, I know I promised you the next time you would see a shot, it would be of us planting, but I wanted to showcase the effect it's going to have right now. So you can, I put in another full bowl all the way to the top, so it is definitely at least 8 quarts of soil in there, and I was able to backfill voids that you can't see that's behind some of the bottom pieces of the wood that's attached to the wall, so that we can plant things literally right up to the wall that can kind of grow behind it a little bit and hopefully give it more of that realistic grown in feeling that the wall's been there and everything is planted. Now, one thing I'm debating about is I originally wanted this concept to be an island concept, as that's traditional to the film. I do have the sand that we have, which is that really pretty white sand. I think I may put it on top because as I was thinking about it, the lightness in the bark I think would play off really well with the white sand, and I think it would make a much prettier contrast, and we could still plant in it. It's just that I think it's it'll be a complement. Right now, the soil and the wall are very much the same color family, and I think I want to break that up so that your moss mountains will kind of like stand out, and then also the plants we put there will stand out. And as you can see, the weed, I think it's the weed grass, I put those back into the soil where I hope that they're going to pick up on. And I'll give this a couple of days, take a look at it, see if I like it for the final, and then we'll start doing on the planting on it. And we got lots of choices for plants, because remember, I've been collecting plants starting back in September, so I've got 3 tubs of growing chambers. So there's ferns and all kinds of things that we can choose from to go inside there. So I'm kind of excited about that. Plus, we may want to pull some things out of the scavenger hunt videos that I did from Louisville and also Raleigh. Raleigh had some beautiful different colored moss I think we might could fit in there. And then Louisville had a couple of plants that I wanted to put in there that seemed to be okay. I'll let you guys take a look at those if we do anything with them. But they seem to be doing well in their growth chamber, which is in a humid environment. So hopefully that will be the next go around. I'll give it a couple of days and we'll see. You guys have a great night. Till then, bye.